As I was making yesterday's video, I encountered an interruption that forced me to delete it, and I said, well, realistically, I don't have time. I'll have to wait until tomorrow, which is today. The topic that I was going over was about how I had this lady come through my line and she was disabled. She had really trembly hands. She needed to use her phone to access something under her account, and that way we could finish up the transaction. She took a little while because I was explaining to her what it is that she needed to do, and unfortunately only through her phone was her little promo available. As I was processing her transaction, scanning, bagging, doing my thing, she was using her phone, and I noticed that her trembling wasn't too bad. Her trembling started getting bad when she observed that people were standing behind her, and of course she felt the pressure of I'm holding up the people in the line. I kept telling her to take her time, that everything is okay, that I'm still working. I deliberately slowed down because usually I can knock out orders in seconds. This time around, because I understand that some people go through that, they think that because they're disabled, they are an inconvenience to others in some cases. They feel that pressure of not allowing for their disability to get in the way of other people's lives, and some people legit feel like they're inconveniencing others. With me, that shit doesn't fly. It's your turn, and if I have to go to the extreme, I truly need to get the line going, I can always save your transaction and refer you to customer service or someone else who can help you finish up if that's necessary. But anytime it's someone's turn, I don't care. You have to come prepared for delays. And if you have a problem with that, that is a you problem, not an us problem. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Self-checkout is always an option too. So with that, I leaned in close to her after I was done with the scanning and the packing and everything. And then I could tell that she was feeling extra frustrated again because she was trying to use her phone, but her phone kept kicking her out of an app, and then it was making her use Google for some reason. So she asked me, do you know how I can access the web browser without signing into Google? Because for some reason my password doesn't work. And I looked at it. Fortunately, she had an iPhone, so I knew what to do. But it was weird that when I was typing in the page that she needed to visit, she had something going on with her Google to where a window would roll up and ask her to sign in. On my phone, that doesn't happen. But what occurred to me was closed off the tab, closed the app out all the way, and then relaunched it. That took care of the problem. And then she took a couple of extra seconds signing in, and I told her, everything is okay, take your time. And then when she finally got herself logged in, she was like, okay, and now where do I need to go? And her voice was like very calm, very patient, but I could tell that she was like stressed, feeling a lot of pressure. And then I very calmly pushed the buttons that we needed to push, and then I did what I had to do on my register. Her stuff worked, and then I said, see, nothing to it, we're all set now. And then she asked me, very worried, she was like, now is that something I have to do every time I come in? And I said, the only thing that made us experience a delay today is that you were not logged into your account, but as long as you stay signed in and you know how to get back to this, you shouldn't have to worry about going through the entire process that you just went through, such as resetting your password. You guys know about all that, so I'm not gonna mention any of it. And in the end, she thanked me and she was like, well, thank you so much for being very patient with me, and I'm sorry that I held everybody up. And I said, don't ever apologize for things like that. It's your turn. We all need to understand and accept that we ain't going nowhere until you're done. And I'm sorry that maybe you have had experiences in which people don't know how to be kind just because you might be a little different. So anyway, so that was yesterday. And then today I had to go to DMV, the place where all hope goes to die. That is undoubtedly one of the places that I really try to skip and do everything online. But I had to help Ma with something, and by extension, she had to help me with something. So we both knocked things out on the same trip. And on top of that, it's best if we're both present just in case something happens. The line at DMV is always super long. It always wraps around the building in a sense, but it's more of it continues down a sidewalk. And sometimes it's so long that it does begin to wrap around the building. I was observing how there were a lot of people standing in that line who are just not in the physical shape, I guess, required to endure something like that. Some people, none of them in front of me, unfortunately, kept giving up on the line. Some of them acted stupid. They were like, oh, this is the DMV and the line starts all the way back there. Yes, the line doesn't start at the door with the person who's next in line. That line starts at the end of the line that's facing the door that we're all trying to go through. Why are you tripping? There was that. And then some people had accessibility instruments, like chairs, walkers, canes. And then I noticed that regardless of people's age, the intolerance for such a thing was super high. I get it, I guess, if I were experiencing a physical discomfort due to a procedure, I know it would suck for me too. I wouldn't want to do that and whatever, but you know what I do? I like to prepare. I like to bring many papers, over prepare if I have to. But for the physical endurance of that process, I like to bring water, nibble on something before standing there, wear a mask, wear sunscreen, wear long sleeves, things like that. Consider those little factors. Consider that you're going to be outside. Access to seating is not prevalent. You know this. You have been there before. Why are you tripping? And you know that this line is always long. Why are you tripping? For me, the only thing that sucked is when people start smoking, because I have asthma and it really kills me. But all in all, I mentioned those things because I'm not sure how much of this is preventable, especially since I've been seeing this across all ages, but I think that I'm able to see with an actual visual representation of what it's like for health to be wealth. Because some people simply do not tolerate those conditions. And I'm telling myself, none of this ever bothers me. I'm never bothered by parking on the parking spot that's not too close to the building. I'm not the person who's always circling around trying to figure out where to park. I see a spot, I take it, and I walk to where I have to go, period. That doesn't just intimidate me. Same thing when I go shopping. I gotta carry bags, I carry the bags, I use a cart if I have to, period. And those things that require physical work, I don't know why I'm seeing so many people not able to do physical work and find that absolutely daunting if they have to do something. So now I want to understand, is that the result of you not using your body enough to the point that your body is crapping out on you and you can't rely on it to resist basic things? Or is it the fact that we have become so comfortable and we live in so much convenience that now when we do things that resemble inconvenience, such as standing in a long queue outside on a hot day, suddenly you cannot resist that? Or is it that you don't conceive that happening in modern times and therefore you just take for granted that everywhere you're going to go, there's going to be an AC and seating areas? I don't know why, but maybe it's because of the way I grew up, meaning that I always had to not be doing fun child things and I wasn't always catered to necessarily, and maybe that's why I don't mind and I just don't care. Presently, I'm enjoying at least health more plentifully than not, but I just cannot imagine a life in which the first thing I do is arrive somewhere and be like, oh, that is the line, the end of the line is back there and there's nowhere to sit and we gotta be out here. I cannot imagine doing that.